host Pakistan and Uzbekistan, and I welcome you all to another program of The Platform. In our today's program, we will be talking about the first Mughal emperor, Zaheer Babur, his legacy, his life history, and many more aspects. For this, we have a very special guest with us today, Brigadier retired Akhtar Nawaz Janjua. He is a senior member, Board of Experts of Center for Global and Strategic Studies. Brigadier Janjua is also an expert analyst on Shanghai Cooperation Organization in Central Asia. Assalamu alaikum, sir. And welcome to our program.
Thank you very much for bringing me here and talk to you.
Sir, as you know that in our today's program, we will be talking about Babur. So before we move on to the other aspects, let's talk about Babur's legacy.
Babur has great legacy, and he is sort of a hero both in Uzbekistan and also in Pakistan. Maybe in India there may be certain reservations about him, but in Pakistan we love Babur, and I've been to Uzbekistan, I can share with you, and they also love Babur. And there is a museum in Tashkent which is about Amir Taimur, and once you go into that museum, there are a lot of relics and a lot of beautiful things about the Taimurids there. And Babur figures out there that he is one of the sons of the Taimuri clan, in fact, a fifth generation Taimuri. His father was Sheikh Umar Mirza, who was ruler of Afghanistan. At the time, it was not known as Afghanistan, it was known as the Taimurid Empire, and it was the great Amir Taimur, who is loved in Uzbekistan, and I think he is revered all over the world as one of the greatest kings and military commanders the world has seen. So he is descendant of Amir Taimur, and in fact the fifth generation Taimuri is his father, and then I think Amir Taimur's son was Prince Mirambakhsh, and then his son was, I have just the names here, Sultan Muhammad, and then Sultan Ibn Saud, Abu Saud, and then his father Umar Sheikh Mirza, and then Babur. So Babur is a genuine Taimuri, and he was born there, but under difficult circumstances he had to leave, and he became a great conqueror and came to India and laid the foundation of the great Mughal dynasty in India.
Okay. Sir, as you have mentioned, that Babur, he had to travel, he had to move from Central Asia to subcontinents. So can we talk about the reasons, or what actually led to Babur traveling from Central Asia to subcontinent in a bit more detail?
Babur was born in 1483 in Farghana, in Andajan, Farghana, which is now part of Uzbekistan. And once he was very young, his father departed for the eternal world. I think it was 1493 or 1494.
Okay.
So he was just 11 years old, and he was proclaimed as the ruler of Farghana. The areas surrounded by Farghana were ruled by his own kith and kin, his uncles. So after a very short stint of 1 year or so, he was driven out of Farghana. He had a fight there, and he was driven out. So he, as a very young boy, I think, had this tremendous talent, and that royal blood, that Taimuri blood into him. So what he did, that he moved over from Farghana, just 240 kilometers away, miles away, to Samarkand, captured Samarkand and became the ruler of Samarkand. In fact, he has had 3 stints of ruling Samarkand in different years. So from Samarkand, he was again driven out, so he came to Kabul.
Okay.
Very interesting that at a ripe age of about 17 years, he captured Kabul and became its ruler. And so he ruled Kabul from 1500 to 1530 till his death. He was the ruler of Kabul.
Okay.
So from Kabul, he made a move to India. It was last 4 years of his life. He crossed Indus, captured entire Punjab in about 3 weeks' time, and then moved on to Panipat, the first battle of Panipat between two great Muslim rulers. He was the invader, of course, and was the last of the Lodi dynasty's ruler, Ibrahim Lodi. So they met in 1526 at Panipat. Ibrahim Lodi was killed in the battle. He had about 100 elephants, war elephants, and about 100,000 soldiers, battle-hardened soldiers.
Okay.
But Babur was superior in the tactics. So he encircled, this is famously known as the Tolukma tactics. So he encircled Ibrahim Lodi's forces,
Okay.
used artillery, and also he did something to frighten the elephants in the forces of Ibrahim Lodi. And the elements actually, once they became confused and panicked, they started killing their own soldiers while running back. So Babur laid the foundation of the Mughal dynasty in 1526, and he lived on only for 4 more years and died in 1530. So his legacy is that he lived in India for 4 years, but his descendants went on to rule India, Mughal emperors,
Yes.
hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years. Okay, sir, for somebody who has such a rich, magnificent life, he was a great conqueror and he had a rich travel history. How do you see Babur's personality? How will you explain his personality traits? Are there any are those personality traits, are they still visible in our generation today, maybe in subcontinent or in Central Asia?
He was a multi-dimensional personality. Babur was not only that he was a military commander or he was a ruler, he was a writer. He was a devout Muslim.
Yeah,
His name signifies something. Babur is his nickname. Babur is not his name. His name is Zaheeruddin Muhammad. Zaheer in Arabic means a defender. So he was defender of Deen Islam, and Muhammad, of course, Prophet Sallallahu. So he carried this with this, and he has books on his credit, Babur Nama, which deals with his life, and also Tuzke Babri, which were, of course, written in his native language, the Chuktai Turkic, but then translated into Persian, and great, I think, treasure of wisdom and his adventures throughout his life, what he did. A very short life, of course, of only 47 years. So he was, at the one time, he was a ruler. He was a very, very caring parent also. You know how he died. The myth is that once Humayun fell sick, and then he offered his own sort of life to Allah. And he said, if you want to take a life, take my life. I want to die and let my son survive. So he was a great father. He was a great ruler. He was a great military commander. He was a historian as well because he wrote the books. And the biggest thing for us all here in Pakistan or in Uzbekistan and Central Asia, and whosoever wants to read Babur, is his determination. Is bigger than his own years adventures. He was 12 years once he became the ruler, and then just see that in 17 years age, we have Muhammad bin Qasim's history already, but in 17 years he had walked in a territory which is very difficult. Afghanistan is a very difficult territory to tread. He came and captured Kabul and actually became the ruler of Kabul, and he loved Kabul. I can share with you that he loved Kabul. He died in India, was buried for some time in Agra, and as per his will, he still rests in Kabul. He loved Kabul. He ruled Kabul for so many years, and he almost changed his language to Persian. Still, there is a lot of Persian spoken in Central Asia and in Afghanistan and in Iran. So he was an ally to the Iranian rulers also. So he a multi-dimensional personality. But what I would say that our younger generation, the people who read Babur or who want to see what he was his never say die attitude, his determination to keep going, irrespective of the reverses he suffered in his life, the opposition he suffered from his own family. He never quit. He never said, I quit. He went on, and that is the thing. If you want to be a winner, you should be, you must not be a quitter. The quitters never win. The winners never quit. So he was a winner, so he never quits. That is my, I would say, if the younger generations listening to me in Uzbekistan, or in Central Asia, in Pakistan, or anywhere in the world, if they want to draw a lesson from Babur, they should read that he had a lot of reverses in his life. He faced a lot of obstacles in his life. His father died early. His only family, his own uncles turned against him, paternal uncles turned against him. But he didn't. So if you see, he has been ruler of Samarkand 3 times. He ruled Afghanistan. He ruled the United India, and then he left a legacy which probably lives on, I think, tremendously well. And we have a lot of things common. I think we require a complete another program to discuss that. Once you go to Badshahi Mosque Lahore, Badshahi Masjid Lahore, you go to Atak Fort, you go to Taj Mahal, you go to Lal Fort in Delhi, and you visit and go to the monuments in Bukhara, in Samarkand, in Tashkent, and you find a striking similarity. And that is what also unites us, other than the Islam unites us with Uzbekistan and other Islamic countries in Central Asia, but our culture. And a lot of Pakistani and Indians, they draw their heritage from Central Asia. If there is a DNA test, a lot of people would be turned out to be from who had come with Babur. And it is the great poet Ghalib, who is also respected in Uzbekistan. He is also a gift from the Tamuris, because had they not come here, Babur would have come here. A lot of other people who had come here, lived here, contributed a lot in Indian subcontinent. So the credit goes to Babur. But I would say if I have to pick one thing, I would pick his determination, his never say die attitude. He never ever actually slept on the defeats, on the reverses. He always woke up and stepped up and kept going.
Okay, sir. As we have experienced Babur as a leader, a common leader between Central Asia and subcontinent. So, do you think that has led to any commonalities present today, like commonalities in culture or maybe in our societies?
Aloisha, lot of commonalities. And if you travel in Uzbekistan, once I went into Uzbekistan, Tashkent is a very modern city.
Yes.
The dresses mostly are Western. But if you start traveling towards Samarkand, you find the local and the Western styles. But if you go to Bukhara, and it was in Bukhara that I came to know that from where I got my shalwar kameez. From where the shalwar kameez you putting on. I saw a lot of ladies dressed in the same dress which you are putting on right now. So we have that. What we eat, what we construct. So there are a lot of similarities. I think he and the Mughals contributed a lot in the Indian culture.
The culture that we have today has a lot to do with
poetry, the literature, the language, the fine arts. There's so many commonalities. I think it is only for the people of Pakistan to go there and see, and people of Uzbekistan to come here and see with their own eyes that there's so much common. And I can share with you, even the language is common. There's so much of Urdu there in Uzbek language, thousands of
So
words.
much of Urdu words that we can, the words are present in Uzbek language.
Yes, yes. And in fact, the Punjabi words in
Okay.
Punjab,
I didn't know
we call the Zor prayers and Peshi. So once I went to a masjid in Bukhara, I said the namaz of Peshi. It means the Zohar namaz, the namasha, the namaz Maghrib, Isha. So there are a lot of things in common. The dresses, the language, the living style. Of course, there have been changes brought in by the foreign forces, the occupation forces, which occupied India, Pakistan, which occupied the Central Asia. So there is the name change. Once I went, we had a conducting officer with us. So his name was Nizamuddin, but he had Nizamuddin Azimov or something like that. So that was added to the Soviet Union pressures. I think they are falling back to their original names as well. Our names are common. We have the similar names. They have the similar names. And the biggest thing is that we have one deen. They follow Islam, we follow Islam, and they are very staunch Muslim, just like us, I found. But they do not believe in sectarianism. They don't kill each other. I offered one
something we can learn from
prayer.
them.
Yeah, we offered one Friday prayers in Tashkent, and I think it was wonderful to see the people sitting there. Not only the mosque was full, it was outside, the lawns were full, and there were so many dresses on the display. There's so many ways of offering the prayers on display. I think it's a worth studying how they are living peacefully and it is the same culture with Tamuri. They are proud of Tamur. They are proud of Tamur and his legacy. They have a complete museum there, and they have actually, in 25 years, brought back everything which was destroyed in the 100 years before that. All those structures stand today tall. Even the madrasas have started working again. I visited one madrasa in Bukhara. So they have a lot of things to learn from us. We have a lot of things to learn from them. And the cooperation, being Muslim brothers. And here I must mention the three names. The President of Uzbekistan, His Excellency Shaukat Beg Mirza, the Secretary General of now, the SCO, Mr. Vladimir Nurev, and the ex-ambassador, the Deputy Foreign Minister of Uzbekistan now, Mr. Furqat Siddiq. I won't say Siddiqo, he's Siddiqo, but let me talk to Pakistani people now, Mr. Furqat Siddiq. They played a great part in bringing Pakistan and Uzbekistan close, and the Pakistan government, Pakistan Foreign Office, and of course, a lot of credit to CGSS. CGSS has acted as a bridge between Uzbekistan, Pakistan, and the entire Central Asia and Pakistan.
Sir, we will be moving on to our last question. Apart from CGSS, how do you think Babur has helped in shaping the kind of relations that we have with Uzbekistan at present? And how do you think the common history can help us shape our future together?
This question requires only one phrase: the common pride in Babur. They are proud of Babur. We are proud of Babur.
Yes.
We talk a lot about Babur. We are still talking about Babur, Pulvasha, you and me. They talk a lot about Babur.
Yes.
They revere Babur. We revere Babur. And the qualities of Babur we have already discussed. Our young generation, you and your peers, and the generation which is coming, can emulate Babur in so many fields, and vice versa. They can see here a man, a great man, the men who are born in centuries, and they are special people. They can look at the character of Qaeda-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah and find few things in him which they can actually teach people there who was Muhammad Ali Jinnah, what was his spotless character, and how he was actually he had a lot of things in common with Babur. And those two things which I talked about: the determination,
Yes.
the evolution,
Yes.
the never say die attitude.
Okay. On that note, we will be concluding our today's program. I hope the today's informative program would prove beneficial to our viewers, especially our young viewers. Thank you, sir, for taking out time for joining us and for sharing with us your knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Malvasha. It was a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, and Allah Hafiz.